Hi people. Today we are going to be talking about Rook Endgames. Just like Pawn Endgames, Rook Endgames are also very common. But they're difficult to win. A lot of Rook Endgames end in draws. Even if you have an extra pawn, it doesn't count for much if the defending player's pieces are active. So a good thing to do is to cut off the enemy's king from being able to get active. Now let's say our opponent has an extra pawn. How do we defend this and make a draw? We get our king on the promotion square. The enemy can't kick out our king with just their rook, they also need their king. So we cut off the enemy king from getting any closer. If they advance their pawn to create a wall for their king, then we just move our rook as far as possible, like here. The rook moves far away from the enemy king and gets ready to give a lot of checks from a distance. This plan is very common in most Rook endgames. If you're going for a win, you aim to drive the enemy king to a worse position. If you want a draw, just give as many checks as you can to get a draw by perpetual check. Now our enemy moves forward to create a mate in one threat, so we give a bunch of checks. Even if they don't move their king forward to create a mate threat, we still give a bunch of checks. That's the entire reason we moved our rook all the way back. If they were to move towards our rook, we just aim for the pawn with our rook, and this position is just now a draw. If we go back before they decide to push their pawn, they can just hide behind the pawn from the checks and threaten mate in one. Then easily promote their pawn because our king will get kicked out from the promotion square. Now we have the extra pawn. How do we win this position? Well, the pawn has a good chance of promotion if the enemy king is cut off from reaching the promotion square. If it's able to get to the promotion square, it's most likely a draw. So we have to cut off the enemy king from the pawn by at least 2 files. Now we push our pawn until it's 1 rank away from promotion. The enemy can give our king countless checks with their rook, but we can just hide in front of the pawn like so. It may look like we can't push our pawn anymore, but we can move out our king after the enemy rook focuses its attention on something else, and when we receive a check we move on to the promotion square and then move up our pawn. Now how do we promote our pawn from here? Well, first we move our rook to the 4th rank if you're white. If you are black, move it to the 5th rank. Then we bring our king out. The enemy is very likely to give us a check here. If they don't, they just lose. So when we receive the check, we move forward, like here in front of the pawn. Another check, we move to the side. Another check, we move forward. And one more check. This check we block with our rook. That entire thing we did with our king is called building a bridge. Now they take our rook and we can safely promote our pawn. The enemy king is out of the square of the pawn because we cut off the enemy king by 2 files. If it were to be cut off by 1 file, it could easily stop our pawn from promoting. So, yeah. Thanks for watching. I'll eventually get to Rook vs Rook endgames. It's just that Rook endgames with an extra pawn seem to come up more in lower rated games. But other than that, thanks for watching and have a good day.